I've always been the curious type. The allure of the unknown, the thrill of exploring forbidden territories, it's what keeps me going. So, when I first heard whispers of the dark web, that hidden underbelly of the internet where the darkest secrets festered, my curiosity got the best of me. One fateful night, shrouded in darkness and isolation, I found myself hunched over my laptop, determined to peel back the layers of the digital underworld. With trembling fingers, I fired up my Tor browser, masking my online identity in an attempt to protect myself from prying eyes. The journey began innocently enough, with a simple search leading me to a seemingly harmless forum. But as I delved deeper, the posts grew increasingly sinister. Discussions about illegal activities, disturbing imagery, and unimaginable horrors lurked within the threads. Uncomfortable knots formed in the pit of my stomach, but I couldn't tear my eyes away. My heart raced as I clicked on a link promising access to a live stream that promised to show me something that would shatter my perception of reality. Against my better judgment, I hesitated for only a moment before I clicked play. The screen flickered, and what appeared before me was beyond my darkest nightmares. Unholy rituals, masked figures in dimly lit chambers, the air heavy with an ominous presence. I was a spectator in a nightmare I could never wake up from. Cold sweat dripped down my brow as I quickly closed the browser window, my racing heart pounding in my chest. But the damage was done. The images and sounds were etched into my mind, a haunting reminder of the darkness that existed just beyond the surface of our everyday lives. Days turned into restless nights, plagued by disturbing dreams and a growing paranoia that I was being watched. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind outside sent shivers down my spine. The shadows in my room seemed to dance with malevolence, and I could no longer distinguish between reality and the terrors that had seeped into my mind. Desperation drove me to seek answers, to understand the true nature of what I had witnessed. I returned to the dark web, my hands shaking as I navigated through the labyrinth of horrors. The lines between right and wrong blurred as I stumbled upon black market transactions, human trafficking, and discussions of unspeakable violence. As I dug deeper, I felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as if a malevolent force was reaching through the screen, clawing at the edges of my sanity. I had ventured too far, lost in a world where darkness consumed everything it touched. In the end, I realized that curiosity had brought me to a place from which there was no escape. The darkness of the web had seeped into my soul, forever changing me. And now, as I sit alone in the suffocating darkness, I can't help but wonder if I had been drawn into the abyss, or if the abyss had been waiting for me all along.
In the dead of night, when the world outside my window had fallen into an eerie silence, my curiosity got the better of me. The whispers of the dark web had been gnawing at the edges of my thoughts for far too long. So, with trembling anticipation, I embarked on a journey that would forever haunt my waking hours. I navigated the labyrinthine depths of the Tor network, my heart pounding as each click took me further away from the familiar territories of the surface web. The dim glow of my laptop screen cast a sickly pallor across my face, as if foreshadowing the darkness I was about to confront. Threads of uncertainty intertwined with my every thought as I stumbled upon a marketplace for the forbidden and the grotesque. The descriptions of unimaginable wares left my mind reeling: poisons, weapons, and the most sinister of human desires offered up for sale. But it was the promise of access to forbidden knowledge that lured me deeper, like a moth drawn to an irresistible flame. I found myself in a virtual room, surrounded by faceless avatars and coded monikers. The conversations danced with a macabre energy, discussing acts so unspeakable they defied comprehension. My hands trembled as I read stories of secret societies that reveled in the agony of others, tales of shadowy figures orchestrating global chaos from the shadows. In the midst of this digital nightmare, a message appeared: "Do you dare to witness the truth?" With a mixture of dread and anticipation, I clicked on the link. The screen flickered and a grainy video began to play. What I saw defied the boundaries of my imagination, a place where cruelty was an art form, and suffering a grotesque spectacle. As the video played on, my surroundings blurred, and the room seemed to close in around me. Panic clawed at my throat, and I struggled to tear my eyes away from the screen. But it was too late. The horrors were etched into my mind, branded there like a scar that would never fade. Sleep became elusive, and when it did come, it brought with it a parade of nightmarish visions. The line between reality and delusion blurred, and the shadows in my room morphed into sinister entities that whispered malevolent promises. The faces of the avatars I had encountered on the dark web seeped into my dreams, their hollow eyes haunting my every waking moment. I tried to disconnect, to sever the ties that bound me to the abyss, but its grip was unrelenting. The darkness had become a part of me, an invisible weight that dragged me down. No corner of my life remained untouched. Every creak of the floor, every flicker of a screen, triggered a visceral unease. In the end, I realized that the dark web had not only exposed me to the worst of humanity, but had transformed me into a vessel for its horrors. The echoes of the abyss reverberated through my mind, a chilling reminder that some doors should never be opened, and some secrets should remain buried in the shadows forever.